Okay, now let's spend a little bit of time with these heart sounds. I'm going to, make a noise for you. Let up, that up. Let up, that up. The gallops. And there were two sounds that you heard let up with that first noise. And with the second sound, you also heard two specific sounds. And I am enunciating let up and that up on purpose. Now, let's walk through depolarization of the heart, shall we? You begin at the base. You begin at the right atrium. You then travel through the atria, and then you arrive where? AV node. From the AV node, what do? You go to the bundle of His, and then you go through the bundle branches. How many do you have? Through the interventricular septum, you have two bundle branches, left and right. Physiologically, which bundle branch did you travel through first? Left bundle branch, isn't it? Okay. If it's a left bundle branch that you're traveling through first with depolarization, well, what is that going to control? It controls the mechanical activity of your valves on the left side. In order, how would they then close? Mitral, S1, then aortic, S2. Is that clear? So you pay attention with the closure of the valves on the left side due to depolarization passing through your left bundle branch. I hope that's clear. Okay, now with that said, then you move on to the right side. Then you have the right bundle branch. So therefore, subsequently, remember, your nodes with electrical activity follow through what type of action potential? Close your eyes. What kind of action potential, please? It would be 403. Do you remember those? 403. 4. Funny. That's your sodium channel. Then 0, what is that? Calcium. And then you had phase 3, which is potassium. 403. But then, if you're dealing with mechanical activity, what kind of action potential is that? That's the one with the plateau, isn't it? It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now, with both of those in mind, all we're going to do is keep repeating. And if your physio is not strong, then you're having a hard time following me. But this could also be a point in which, wow, maybe I didn't understand my action potentials as well, and I need to go back and review. And you want to make sure that you have that down, because later on in pharmacology, those are things that come into play over and over again. And we'll do a little bit of that. So now we have axial closure, and we have S1. We have mitral and then tricuspid. Now, as far as the type of heart sound that you want to pay attention to and know everything about would be S2. But just to make sure that we're clear, S1 will be mitral closure first, then followed by tricuspid. Is that clear? That's S1, S2. Okay. Now, S1 and then S2 would be A2, P2. We'll come to that in a second. Now, with S1, I need you to understand when these atrioventricular valves are closing. Atrioventricular valves is another name for these mitral and tricuspid, aren't they? Of course it is. So when would they close? That's your next big question. Do they close during systole or diastole? Take your time. Systole, right? Think, what happens during systole? The left ventricle is about to create all this pressure so that it is then going to eject the blood into where? Into the aorta. If it's the right ventricle, it's trying to eject the blood into the pulmonic artery, isn't it? And so therefore, you have to open up the aortic and pulmonic valves. Once again, the question to you is, are you going to create any heart sounds with opening? Never. And during systole, what then happens to the mitral and tricuspid? It closes. So from henceforth, I want you to think of S1 as being a systolic heart sound with closure of the mitral and tricuspid. Is that clear? Good. Then we take a look at S2. With S2, once again, what side of the heart are we dealing with first? Left side. And with S2, it's closure of the aortic followed by the pulmonic. So now we have A2, P2. Clear? Now, your next question is, if it's closure of these aortic and pulmonic valves, that up. All right, A2, P2, A2, P2, A2, P2. Then when does this occur? During diastole. Is that clear? During diastole, what happens? My blood has just been ejected from my left ventricle and right ventricle into the aorta and pulmonary artery, respectively. There goes the blood. What has to happen next so that you prevent any blood regurgitating back into the respective ventricles? You have to close them. Welcome to A2P2. Now, as I said, we will walk through the pathophys of S2 because that is where the focus should be. Once you've understood everything that we're going to refer to in the next couple of slides, and then you come back and take a look at S1. You do that in order, you'll be in great shape.